Hello there. This is Alec. I am not British, as it turns out. We had joked before this. Could we make the entire episode with British accents? No, actually, we didn't talk about that at all. But
I couldn't.
we already knew that wasn't possible, so we didn't even bother with it. So today we're going to talk in normal American, Minnesotan, Wisconsinite accents. So, episode 65, Dead or Alive. Thank you for being here. We are going to talk about a variety of subjects as it's been a week and a half since we've chatted. So want to make sure that we get in all that, is in our craniums here today. So, first of all, the Trailblazers, they need a second star. They have fallen off since their hot start. And they're not so hot anymore. So what do they need to do to keep Dame happy and try to win some games with him? That likely is getting a second star. So we're going to talk about that. Well, let's talk about Jeremy Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson. I'm sorry. Where could he possibly be traded? And then what should the Heat do? They are kind of in a limbo right now. They're not as good as they were last year by any means. You can't even really call them a contender at all right now. So they, what do they need to do? We'll chat a little bit about that. I'm sure Dalton's got the 100% blueprint plan that Pat Riley should follow. So hopefully Pat is listening to this episode. The Hawks have been talking about trading John Collins for years. Seems like maybe this is the year it finally happens. I don't know. We said that same thing last year. Ultimately, when they do trade him, should they trade him for pieces or for a star? We'll have that debate. And then lastly, we've got the Pistons and Kings that we want to check in on. A couple of teams that have been dog poop for a long time and want to pull themselves out of the gutter. And then we're going to play a game, the same game we did last time. So that's going to be, for anyone who missed that, we're going to try and guess, who a player is based on the teams that they played for. So minimum 3 teams that they played for. We'll get into the rules of that once we're there, but yeah, that should be a fun one. And then lastly, a little bit of a rookie check-in. I think we just want to take a look at how they are playing overall, who's going to be the rookie of the year, all that good jazz. So
this has been Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly Ball Business.
I like that video.
Shit. Starting out, the Blazers need a second star. Easier said than done, right? We've been saying this for years. They've tried to get good players here. They've tried to get that second star from CJ McCollum to now Anthony Simons. But is that type of player capable of becoming the star? We've had a hard time seeing that, really come to fruition. So do they need to make a big trade for someone? That's kind of the big question here. Is it possible? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's certainly possible. I think there's some stars out there that might go for a lot cheaper than they're actually worth. I think it's just comes down to circumstance, and they can prey off that. Anthony Simons, I really like him. He's doing great. I think he's doing really well. Jeremy Grant's doing well. I just think they need a little more. Right now they're 17th in defensive ranking and only 13th in offense. They just need more. They just need a little more on both ends. They're a decently efficient team, 7th in three-point shooting, 12th in field goal, but they are turning the ball over a lot. So it'd be nice to get ideally a better ball handler, but you don't want to give up too much defense. So it's all kind of dependent upon what they go out there and get. I got 2 trades. I can toss them at you. Let's see what you think of them. All right. So the first one, they're calling up the Wizards. They can buy this guy cheap. He's on I think he's got 2 years left on his contract. It's Kristaps Porzingis. So on this one, they're trading off Yusuf Nurkic, Justin Winslow, and Gary Payton II. They lose a decent amount of defense, but I guess they're really hoping that at least the inside presence of a Porzingis as a shot blocker will increase them in a certain way. Or maybe it just adds more to Dame's game where it spaces out the floor, where where they take the only guy on their team that can't shoot, Yusuf Nurkic, and they add a guy who's a decent three-point shooter right now. He's scoring really well. Kristaps, you voted him into the All-Star game. What do you think of that? Who says no?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Wizards want to do that trade necessarily, but also keep in mind for the Blazers, they haven't gotten a lot out of Gary Payton because he's been injured for most of this year. He just played his first game, I think, last week. So their defensive numbers this year have been sans him. So maybe he'll come in and have a great impact. I don't know who has a bigger defensive impact between him and Porzingis. I would like to think it's probably Gary Payton, but do you want to take the risk and get a shooter with Kristaps? I can see that, but this is also a guy who clearly has a different type of ego. He's not just a role player. He continues to think like he's the guy who needs a specific amount of touches, and guaranteed he's going to ask for a big payday when that comes around. So do you want to be the team stuck with the hand grenade in a couple years at that point? Or do you want to train him again in another year and just continue to flip this hot potato?
Yeah, I mean, it would put them a little more tougher because they're just putting more of their contracts in less hands, more of their money in less hands. I mean, but I use it more as Yusuf Nurkic. I mean, he's gonna go away, and I don't even think he's definitely not the answer at center for them. He's just we've seen a lot of teams struggle, especially with the Timberwolves, the Magic did, or the Bulls do, where you have bigs that just aren't good defensive bigs, or they have less potential to be better defensive bigs. And I think Porzingis would add a little more than Nurkic. Maybe he's not as strong, so it's not as good as pick setting, and you don't get all those great flare screens that Dame just loves. But it gives you a little more versatility rather than just setting into the way, because clearly the ways they're working, it's just not going to get them over it. I don't think it's going to get them over that hump. I think they just need a little bit more. I don't think rebounding would change. And yeah, Gary Payton, the loss of that would be a little tough. And it's just easier to swallow now because he's only played one game and they don't see too much impact right now. And we'd still have to see more of a sample size from Gary, but I certainly think it's an option out there for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big guy is certainly a good way for them to look for in trades. Another person that I have them considering is DeAndre Ayton, with the Phoenix Suns continuing to struggle, and him overall, we know doesn't want to really continue that relationship. I think they're for that full contract, so eventually they're going to have to, do this trade or somewhere. Maybe it's with the Blazers.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they'd have to have Nurkic in that period, but then they'd either have to add a guy in like Jeremy Grant or Anthony Simons into that trade. Sure. Which I would say it'd be more towards. If I were the Blazers, I would use Anthony Simons. You get less. I mean, I like the young talent, but you do get more young talent. Ayton he's a number 1 overall draft pick. I think he's an all-star in the making. I think that's almost worth it. But they do have a slew of guards that could throw in at too, whether it's Gary Payton or Josh Hart. I think they do have that more versatility at the guard rather than as a big man. If you got rid of Jeremy Grant and Nurkic, you're kind of just not much going up on the front court.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Simons is a big trade chip for them, so if they're open to trading him, I'm curious like who they're open to getting back. It's going to be hard to get someone much better than DeAndre Ayton, so kind of at that point, and he's locked up for multiple years, so I think at that point, it's probably worth pulling the trigger on. Another person I would be happy to trade Anthony Simons for would be DeMar DeRozan.
Hey, that's good. I have a trade for DeMar DeRozan actually. Yeah, I think he would be great because
perfect. Good segue then.
Really, it's like perfect. So he would be a nice fit because he's just that second guy. They really have just never had that second like superstar next to Dame. I mean, they tried it with Aldridge. I like CJ McCollum. I think he's an all-star caliber player. Wasn't enough. I don't think any of the guys on the current roster. I think Simons will eventually be an all-star, but I don't think he's on that timeline right now.
Yeah, maybe.
So, and I think the Bulls would love to do that. So you could get DeMar DeRozan. I actually have them keeping Anthony Simons in this trade. I have Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, and a first-round pick. That's what I have them giving up. I think they would have that versatility because DeRozan can play a small forward. I'm not sure who they would have play power forward immediately. I mean, but I think he would give that second star power. And I mean, DeMar DeRozan's been proven that he can play well next to the shooters like Anthony Simons and Dame. And he's never played with a guy at the caliber of Dame, I don't think. No, I don't think he has at all. So like, that would be.
I think that would add a lot to the team.
Mm-hmm. And you'd have that veteran, another great veteran.
Really happy to see that
presence. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all I had.
I mean.
Sorry.
That's all. Yeah, that's all you had. Well, the one other I thought was a possibility, I guess, if things go south, continue to do so. I don't know if it could happen this year. Probably be next year or in the offseason. Would be Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really nice. I think that would be a really nice guard pairing. And Anthony Simons is gone, and probably Jeremy Grant if they're doing. They're probably both of them. Ideally, they'd want to get rid of Nurkic, maybe throw in Shaedon Sharp and Justice Winslow in that to try to at least keep Jeremy Grant. I mean, I would like it. Really, there's very few places Anthony Davis would not fit, but if I were Anthony Davis, I would want to play. Dame's an easy guy. I mean, easy guy to play next to. Whereas, like you look at some of those superstars, they're pretty locked up in what they have for the teams. But he's probably the most accessible superstar to play with, I would say. Whereas everyone else, it's going to be really hard for trade chips. But I think they'd be more willing. And so I'd be down for that. I think that would be a really nice pair. It just depends what veterans they get along to go in it. I think that could easily improve the team.
Great. Well, that's all we have for today, folks. We'll see you next time. No, I'm just kidding. So that was our Blazers talk. We really blazed it up with that one, I think. There was some pretty high takes. I don't know, man. Next, we're going to talk about Jordan Clarkson, a guy who could potentially get traded in the Danny Ainge frenzy. Danny Ainge loads him up in the trade magnum and shoots him off into the sun. Where does he end up?
I mean, my first guess is which I think is the most probable, is the New York Knicks. I think they've made it clear they have some young talent that they're okay with dropping off. I think for a guy, a 6 man of the year type guy, a guy who would fit very well into their offense, in which they need that boost to offense, I think they're more than willing to give up Obi Toppin, Cam Reddish, and a second round pick for Jordan Clarkson. I think that they'd really throw that in. I think the Jazz, they're like, come on, give us young talent. I think there's still a lot in Cam Reddish and Obi Toppin that you can pull out. I mean, I don't think Obi Toppin's going to be a great player. I think he can I think his peak now is like maybe an Aaron Gordon. I think that's certainly possible in his wheelhouse. He just hasn't had the development time for that. And Cam Reddish, I think, will be a solid defender, 3-and-D type guy. And then a second round pick. Danny Ainge loves picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good trade, and the Knicks would make a lot of sense. They need scorers, and they need someone off the bench who can do it, or they can step up into the starting unit when somebody gets hurt too. Oh yeah, especially he'll get plenty of minutes there, 8-man rotation. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thibodeau will kill him. It'll be great. He'll be so happy.
He will murder him.
And when J-Cap tries to square up, the rest of Madison Square Garden will also square up. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, jeez. He's always a clown for that.
Oh, yeah. 100%. They'd love that. But I got another one. It's actually... So we always talk about the Bulls trading people away, but maybe this is like, let's pull in a guy, cover up for Alonzo Ball and they bring in a Jordan Clarkson. What they would have to give up, I have Alex Caruso and Kobe White. Now it's a little less than what they would think. They get a decent point guard, not a decent point guard, but some more potential guy, another guy who just hasn't been that developed and had not much playing time with the Bulls, and that we'd like to see more of. Might as well take it. They get a defender who's having a down defensive year and shooting year, but he's coming off injury. Maybe Alex Caruso means something. I mean, Jordan Clarkson, I think he's on an expiring contract. 2 years. 2-year contract. So, yeah, maybe they'd have to throw in an extra pick or so, but what do you think of that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be interesting to see the Bulls be buyers in this case. I don't really see that like turning their season around too much, but certainly think he could add more to their team from what they're currently getting. So why not?
Oh yeah, I got one more. Do you have any you have any ideas of landing spots for me?
I got the Miami Heat as a possibility. I think they need some more scoring. They've been
Definitely.
kind of giving Tyler Hero more of that starting position. We're going to talk later about something. What can the Heat do? And I think this is something that they could do to help them out. And they're a clear team that should be buying, especially for guys who can handle the ball and can make their own shot.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine Duncan Robinson would be in that trade, and I think it would be good for Duncan Robinson to get to a new place. You know, he started off fine. He was a knockdown shooter, and now he's kind of fallen off. Maybe in Utah he can turn that around. Plus, he's a white guy, so Utah would love him. They love their white guys.
You're right. I think he would actually turn around in Utah. You know, he just kind of needs a new situation. I think with 3-point shooting especially, it might just be a mental thing and needs to get somewhere maybe it's a little quieter. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like with the Heat, they're tired of him. He's not going to get the minutes there anymore. He's not going to be able to shoot his way out of this. Like those opportunities are gone ultimately.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have another team? Otherwise, I can go into my last one.
My last one, I wasn't like super sure of it, but I thought the Nets maybe. I thought like, yeah, the Nets would be buyers, and they certainly would love to have a guy who can make his own shot. I don't know if there's a realistic trade that can make that happen. If you're giving away Joe Harris somehow to make it happen with some picks, but think he would be a really stabilized scorer for that offense.
Yeah, it could be Joe Harris. I mean, JCap only makes $13 million a year, so that's also an easy one to just take like 3 small size contracts and toss them together in a trade. Yeah, I think he would fit well there. Just as I see more as a Kyrie backup. Kyrie off the floor, they toss him in there for some extra offense. They do have a lot of offense. I don't think that's the trade the Nets should be making. I think they should be looking into getting a little more defensive specialists. I think they're fine on offense in that vein, but maybe they want more shooting around Simmons. You know, that's always out there. That's always a possibility, and they could always it could only improve them, depending upon which guys they throw in. So that's certainly a possibility. But my last one is the Raptors. We see them struggle a lot with offense this year. They got a lot going on for them, but they also got a lot going against them. So I have them training Chris Boucher, Precious Achiuwa, and Malachi Flynn for Rudy Gay and Jordan Clarkson. So it's a bigger package, but they do get some guys. Chris Boucher has shown some promise. Precious Achiuwa, I really see as the main point for them. They need a decent big man. They need a center. They can't be rocking Kelly Olynyk all the time. I mean, he's not going to take your franchise anywhere. And Precious Achiuwa has bounced around to from the Heat to the Raptors, and he's shown a lot of promise. Just has never been fit into the lineups because he doesn't shoot. So maybe this is a chance next to Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Mike Conley. Maybe this is the place where he finally gets those minutes as a starting center.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think Kelly Olynyk has been a fine player for them, but he doesn't need to be a starter long term. So they could certainly bring in other options and see what happens there. But right now, Olynyk might be better than Boucher.
Bullshit. Yeah, I think Olynyk is better, but my point is Olynyk's not going to get any better. And as a rebuilding team, you want guys that you can develop and turn into better players than they are now. And Olynyk's this is his peak. I mean, I think he can only come down from here. And plus, you can get some more for Olynyk where you can send him out. Plus, he's just a dirty guy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Kelly.
You just want to get rid of the ugly goatee.
The ugly, yeah. It was. It's fine. I guess Canadians, whatever. What can I say?
Is he Canadian?
Yeah, he is.
That's an excuse for being weird.
Sure. But that's our trades. Where do you guys think Jordan Clarkson's going to end? Is he going to be on YouTube? Be on Utah by the end of the trade deadline? You guys comment that below. How about you let us know? The Heat.
YouTube star.
He will be. YouTube star. He's going to be on our podcast. Come join our podcast, man. Fuck the NBA. We talk about the NBA. It's great stuff. Okay. The Heat and all their struggles. I thought they were going to do a lot better. I thought they were going to be a good regular season team this year. They're neither. They're not a good play. And I can't see them being a good playoff team. They have some struggles. What do the Heat do?
Well, the Miami Heat need to do a lot, my friend. And I think their priority is they're trying to get rid of Kyle Lowry. They're trying to find somebody better that can lead their offense. I mean, they're 24-21, so it's gotten better lately because I remember they were below 500 not too long ago. And, they can win some games with Kyle Lowry, but overall, I think they just need someone who can actually score there. And it's not like he's a world-beating defender like he used to be. And he's good. He's better than average, but he's getting older. You're not going to play him next year. I think they're going to find a way to have somebody else next year. So that's priority number one. Outside of that, I think they need some more bench scoring. And they got to figure out, what do they got to get to do to have Max Strus be consistent? Is there somebody who could shoot threes next to him? Because Duncan Robinson used to be your guy. But who do you have now? It's a lot of inconsistency, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a lot of inconsistent guys from between Tyler Herro, Gabe Vincent, Strus. I mean, the best overall player has been Bam Adebayo, who's having a career year on offense. He's been doing great. Finally, he fit into what we thought he was going to be this season. So he's the only bright point. I mean, Jimmy's missing a lot of time. Kyle's missing a lot of time. It's just not the team they thought they put together. I mean, going through the numbers, what we knew, this Heat team will always be is great at defense. They're the eighth best defense in the league. You gotta love that. They're awesome, but 26th in offense. I mean, they really got to figure some offensive consistency out. They need better players. 26th in 3-point scoring, 27th in field goal percentage. I don't know. It just looks like a well-coached team, but they're just not getting there. The players just aren't hitting their shots. They're not getting there. So, the 6th in turnovers, which is great, and 23rd in rebounding, which could obviously be better. So what do? Dead last in points per game as a team. So points scored, they're terrible with that. They need to be efficient. They're one of the fastest-paced teams in the league right now. I don't think they need to be. If you have a great defense, maybe slow it down. You can get some better looks. Clearly, it's not working. You definitely don't. Who's the team we talked about last week where their pace is so high? I'm like, maybe slow it down a bit. Timberwolves. I'm like, you can afford to slow it down a bit. Maybe get set into some offense. Maybe it'll work out for some of your guys better. And in this case, I think it would. I think maybe slowing down. Nobody on this roster besides Tyler Herro would jump off the box score as, oh yeah, those guys are some flashy run and gun type players, So might as well just take it down, slow it down a notch. Couple guys that I think could definitely help out this team. Some obviously big names like John Collins. I think he'd help. If you're gonna run this fast, might as well get a guy that'll run with you. And I think he could do all that for you. They need some help. It's kind of been a black hole at power forward since PJ Tucker left. So they got to have some consistency there. They're just tossing random guys in there. I think and John Collins could help spread the floor some with this Bam Adebayo. So that could be an option.
Well, he's going to be at least a bit of a more consistent scorer, and I'll let you get back to your other options here. I think they need somebody who scores consistently because they have a lot of guys getting a lot of minutes who aren't shooting much higher than 40% a game, and that's not really acceptable.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. And to speak at what you mentioned is trading Duncan Robinson would be an option. I think there's a great option out there, especially if the team doesn't extend him. They've said that they're looking to trade him if he doesn't sign an extension. That's Christian Wood. I think Christian Wood would fit great on this team. I think he's shown that he can play in pace with Luka, and he's a great off-ball type player, and I think he could definitely spread the floor with him. He's a nice shooter, and he wouldn't have to be the main center as he struggles with on the Mavericks now. So I think that could be something for you. And I see Christian Wood definitely fits into the vibe of Miami. He would definitely fit into their workplace culture.
Sure. I mean, I think that would be a good fit. Certainly. I think they need more help at the guard position than they do the forward, but I see where you're kind of going with these athletic wing forwards. I don't think it's a bad idea. And certainly that type of player should be able to fit next to Bam. No problem.
Oh yeah, I got two more guys that maybe they should look out for. One guy that's just small that maybe help you clean up he definitely help you clean up the boards. He's just a good guy to have on the floor, and who's definitely he's not going to be cost too much is Jared Vanderbilt. I think they could go out and get that guy. They have the slow team, a good defense, and they're 23 in boards. Go out, get this guy. He's only going to help you out. It's not like you have any other options and that leaves you more for trades to go out and get a guard like a guy like that. And I think he would certainly help out. I think that'd be a sneaky good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a Timberwolves fan, very familiar with Jared Vanderbilt. I think if they want to continue to have a fast-paced team, he's going to help you with that too, while increasing those rebounds because he works hard. He goes after rebounds that other guys give up on or assume they wouldn't be able to grab. He doesn't assume that it plays over. So that's the type of guy any team would be lucky to have on their team.
Yeah, and he's no slouch on defense too. This guy, he's a good. So maybe that'll fill your hole in power forward, and you go out and put a trade package together for a better guard. But I'm just curious on this last guy because I think he's a near perfect fit for what the Heat are trying to do. What do you think the market is for Kyle Kuzma? Going out and get this guy who's just pure offense, and that might be what the Heat need. I mean, he will fit. I think he would fit next to Jimmy. I mean, even Kyle Lowry well, and maybe the Wizards don't see a long-term deal with him.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to keep him if I was Washington, but sure, I could see that happening, and he could certainly be a great trade piece for here. I think he's improved a lot over the last couple of years since he's been with LA. So,
yeah, he has.
Why not?
Yeah, he's really turned his career. I mean, look at us now. We're like, oh yeah, you just said the Wizards would want to keep him. I don't think clearly no other team wanted to keep him up until this point, but might as well. I mean, he's all right. And hey, maybe there's a trade out there. Maybe Bradley Beal's like, you know what? I really like Kyle Lowry. I want him on this team. That's what we need, Kyle Lowry, and maybe that's what sends him. And then they're like, you can have Duncan Robinson. He shoots. Yeah. He scores 3 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I know there's a lot of flaws with this Miami Heat team. Max Strus is only shooting 40% a game on 11.5 attempts. Like that's really bad. And, it's because he's missing a lot of his threes. And Kyle Lowry, he's below 40% as well. And he's missing a lot of his threes. His shots overall. Outside of that, Tyler Hero is having a fine year. I would say 39% from three for him is fantastic. So I don't really have any gripes with Tyler Hero, but obviously Duncan Robinson, we know he's fallen off the last couple of years, but they've given minutes to guys like Max Strus and Gabe Vincent instead, and they're not playing that much better. They're shooting pretty poor right now, both below 40% overall, and their 3-point percent is below 35%. So, what do you give me at that point if you're not going to shoot well?
Yeah, no, great points. And I mean, they got to get that efficiency up, whether it's find guys who will do it, or maybe go in at 5 a.m. every day, or maybe they've been going in at 5 a.m. and they're just
get better.
Tired. Yeah, they got to do something soon. But what do you guys think? Anything we mentioned, or are we just talking out our ass? You comment that below. You let us know. All right. Let's talk about another team that's not meeting expectations. We thought they were going to be a lot better. They made a trade. We were all fans of the trade. The Atlanta Hawks. So right now, they've been Atlanta Hawks. They've been really public about John Collins trades and what they should do. So it's not whether they should trade John Collins. We're talking, should they trade him for pieces, or do they need another star? I want to hear your opinion. What do you think?
I think they do need another star, but I don't think they're going to get one with a John Collins trade. And if they were, it would have been there. They would have taken it. It's simply not going to happen. And so I think they're going to have to find a trade that can get them find the solid pieces that they're okay with. I would take the best trade I can at this deadline, because there's really no point in hanging on to him again throughout the season. I just don't really understand. You already know you're not going to win a championship with this core. You added DeJounte Murray to it, hoping that would enhance the core. Clearly it hasn't, so you need to shake some things up. And you're not going to trade Trae Young, so you got to trade some other guys here to try and make that team around Trae and Murray better. So I would trade Collins for some sort of pieces like, I don't really know what's out there, but try to get, maybe some shooters and another rebounder would probably be what I'd try to get.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the team stats for these guys, they're 27th in rebounding, 27th in shooting. That wasn't their identity 2 years ago, and they've totally fallen off. Granted, Capella's only played 27 games, and that's the magic number for them is 27, I guess. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, listen, you know what? You need rebounding, you need shooting. Maybe you go out and get some ammo. I said they call up the Spurs again, and they're like, hey, listen, like we could have made this a big trader package. We should have done this anyway. I say they take a guy like Zach Collins to play that backup center, backup power forward. They get a guy like Doug McDermott, knockdown shooter, always been a consistent shooter. Toss him out there on lineups, and then they get 2 first-round picks. So the 2 first-round picks, obviously, you can use to attach it to Capella, flip him for something else, because maybe he's not staying on the floor. Maybe someone else will take that, and you can get use those picks for ammo. I don't see them actually making those draft picks. I see them using them as ammo. And then John Collins just goes to the Spurs. He can do whatever there. Out of the conference, they'll see him twice a year. So
I just don't know why the Spurs would want to give up like 2 first-round picks for this guy. Like, don't the Spurs, aren't they going to have some high picks they don't really want to get rid of? We have the protections on them, but
yeah, I mean, I have protections on these, which I can't read on my paper right now because my printer was all inky. But they will see it on the left. They'll see it when it shows up on the left hand side on the screen. Yeah, they're protected. They're definitely, I think they're top 5 and top 8 protected. And obviously, and they're for later years. 2024 and 2026. So this is assumption that they can pull in some better talent, like a guy like John Collins, who could play a small ball center for them if they think Portal's just not doing it for them, or that Portal wants to move on. And I mean, he's significantly older than the rest of the roster, so maybe he's not their ideal pick. And John Collins is a small ball center. I think he would fit well next to guys like Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. And those are their big guys right now. So you know what? Maybe they fit him in there. They have the contracts too. I mean, they'd get off McDermott, who's at 2 years, and they'd get off of Zach Collins, who they also have 2 years. With both guys, they're not going to do anything with anyway. So I figure they clear up some cap space and get a guy that they would actually want to develop.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think those are all great points you've made here, sir. I think you're an exquisite fellow, and I think everybody should be bowing down to your basketball props. Zach Lowe really has nothing on him.
Yeah, you're right, except for he has an entire network, and we have our beloved fans that we love so much.
Well, that is the difference between stardom and talent. Sometimes the talent doesn't always turn into a star. I don't know if it's your looks or your personality, but I think you're smart. You got that down on path. So
shucks, you too, fella. So because you're so smart, I want to know. Did you think of anything? Do you think of any guys that they should target? Any guys out there that role players that would fit great on this team?
On the Hawks, I mean, I think there's certainly some good role players out there. Maybe like a Buddy Hield could add some more shooting here. Maybe try to bring in Miles Turner and flip out John Collins, and then maybe you trade Clint Capella for somebody else. I think that'd be a fun one, but maybe it's too many trades to make happen. Kyle Kuzma is a guy I think about who could maybe play a better role here and really help get some buckets for this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Kuzma might be a little more redundant on offense from DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter scoring 15 points per game, but Kyle Kuzma would fit well on this team. I mean, they do need shooting. Kyle Kuzma has been a great shooter this season. So, what do you guys think? What should they be trading for a star? Do they need another star? Who's out there? Is John Collins worth another star? He's got to go. He doesn't want to be there. It's not Finn. Comment it all below. Let us know. All right, the Kings. That beam's been lit a lot lately. So let's talk about the Kings. I know you wanted. Let's see how they're doing. A season checkup. How's your boys? The Sacramento boys.
Hey, they've been lighting the beam. They have been lighting it up. I tell you what, they they've got a lot of ballers here. I mean, they're fourth in the Western Conference, which I don't think anybody saw at this point in the season, the Kings being fourth. But incredible resiliency from everybody, incredible leadership from De'Aaron Fox in particular. After the NFT crypto scam that he pulled on all his fans, the leadership he has shown to bounce back from that horrible thing he did himself. Fuck him for that, by the way. Domantas Sabonis playing like an absolute all-star. You know, the exact type of player that this team needed, and they brought in for good reason. He's really shored up the rebounding problems they had before. And I'd love to hear who do you think is really the cause for them being at this point?
I mean, of course, their basis is just on Fox and Sabonis. Those guys are playing great. I do lean onto the role players. I mean, they got Herter and they got Malik Monk. Both guys are doing great and spreading the floor. We talked about it coming into the season. They need to shoot better, and they've been shooting better. Keegan Murray, I mean, he's top rookies for me, top 3, top 4.
Yeah.
Guy's been awesome.
Kevin Herter's been a fantastic addition too.
Yep. Kevin Herter's deserves his starting. I don't see anyone else on this team. Like before, we were talking about who should start, and it was pretty variable, and we could say anybody could start at the 2. Now it's just Herter. We're like, we know it's Herter. Malik Monk's a great 3.
He's shooting 42% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. Like,
it's great, and that's exactly what they needed. Yeah. And Davion Mitchell hasn't had that many minutes, but when he's on, he's playing elite perimeter defense. This guy's doing great. He comes in, he's a specialist for them, and I think they love that. And Harrison Barnes is still playing at a high level, so it's just clicking for these guys. My only worries, first in points scored, 5th in pace. My only thing is they're still 15th in rebounds. Not as not as concerning, but still 15th in rebounds. It affects you when you're 24th in defense. So it's still a little more. Defenses get exposed in the playoffs. I want to see them get better. I want to see them do a little bit more. I do think Keegan Murray will grow into that big man defender. So I think that'll help out a lot. Davion Mitchell, as time goes on, he will get better. So that will help with their defense. But as of right now, I'd like to see them bring in some more defense during the trade market. Hopefully not stir up the roster too much. Maybe trade some bits and pieces there. But I'd love to see them bring in a guy.
And the rebounding is tough because really Sabonis is the reason they brought him in. Big reason was to shore up the rebounding issue. And he's helped out a lot, brought him to midway point, but he can't do it all. You know, he's averaging 12.6 a season and 3 offensive a game, which is fantastic. But who do you think has the second most on the team?
Who do I think has the second most on the team?
Yeah, it's probably an obvious answer, I feel like.
Obvious. Keegan Murray?
Nope.
De'Aaron Fox?
Nope.
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, it's Harrison Barnes. How many does he have? The second most rebounds on this game. Second to 12.
5.5.
He has 5 flat.
Yeah, but that's horrible. Obviously, that's
your second best rebounder.
Yep.
And after that, the next best rebounder is Fox at 4.4. And after that, the next best is Murray at 3.8. And then Herter at 3.3. So really, it's a lot of
big gap
running out and gunning after the possession. And if Sabonis doesn't get the rebound on the offensive, well, then it's okay. Getting back on D. Or if he doesn't get it on the offensive rebounds, or if he doesn't get on the defensive, it's like, okay, well, nobody's defending the guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that affects when you're 5th in pace and you're rocking 15th in rebounds. You got to imagine there's not many people back there not picking up those defensive rebounds. That's why their defense is so poor. So if they clear up some better rebounds, I mean, Keegan Murray, that's a little disappointing from his stat with only 3 rebounds. And Harrison Barnes, if he's your second, what I was going to say is he's no spry chicken. His athleticism's near gone, So this guy, I mean, if he's getting up there, getting those 5, Maybe they're a guy that calls up Jared Vanderbilt and they're like, hey, come out here, man. We need you for some specialist stuff.
I think that'd be a great spot for him. I think they are clearly missing a rebounding specialist. I think Murray playing nearly 30 minutes a game. Really, he should be averaging at least 5, if not at least 6 or 7. I mean, I understand you're a rookie. It's hard to be aggressive, but you need to be. You need to be pulling in more rebounds.
Definitely.
It's really unacceptable.
Yeah, got to be aggressive. Can't be timid down there. I know he loves to shoot it, but got to get in there, man.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of scores, a lot of small guys. I know Murray and Barnes overall, they're like 6'8", 6'7". So those are your next tallest guys after Sabonis. So I understand it's a little hard, little high expectations for those shorter guys, but maybe they just need to have a taller guy. I mean, they used to have Willie Cauley-Stein in here, who was kind of a rebounding specialist. I'm not saying they need him or a guy like him, but maybe a version of him a little bit better. Maybe like Precious Achiuwa. I don't know how many rebounds he's pulling up in Toronto.
He's a good rebounder. He's a very good rebounder.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Precious would be a great fit here. I think he would fit really well, and I don't think they would have to give up too much for him. Same thing as Jared Vanderbilt. Actually, I'm not sure which would cost more. Chris Boucher would be a very nice pickup too. If we're talking about the Raptors, he's also a very good rebounder. Raptors as a team are just good rebounding. But
what's interesting is how Rashawn Holmes, he only plays like how many minutes here? He plays 9 minutes a game now. I mean, did he not used to get any rebounds? Like, it's crazy to me.
He was a very good
rebounder.
rebounder.
A role for him anymore. That's wild.
No, yeah. So he's a very good rebounder, but they just cannot play him at the same time as Sabonis, and that's why he's getting so much minutes.
Well, why can't he come off the bench? He only gets 8 minutes off the bench.
Well, how many minutes is Sabonis playing?
Oh, is he only gets the times where Sabonis isn't in there?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I don't think they can play together. Spacing would be awful, and they already have issues with spacing. I get it. I mean, it's the right choice. I think Rashad Holmes, they could trade him, and I think there's a lot of teams that would love to have Rashad Holmes. I think the Mavericks would love to have a guy like Rashad Holmes. But that's the Kings. We're excited. They're doing great. Fourth. I love to see them keep going. De'Aaron Fox, keep it going. You're on my fantasy team. I mean, you dropped down to 23 points per game. Let's get back up to 30, huh? Help me out. I'm not trying to do some stand-up comedy. But another team you wanted to talk about is the Detroit Pistons. They've had some struggles this year, a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff. We talked about Killian Hayes. We talked about a lot of opportunities they have. I know you want to talk about them. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, let's. I mean, when I look at the Detroit Pistons, I think about the absolute chivalry of the NBA. I think about stardom, really. Back in the day, when I was such a wee child, they won championships. Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. I go on. Absolute studs.
Yeah.
But those days are far gone. I tell you what, these days are now barren where their lord is of the Bogdanovich house. And he barely scrounges them by for some wins. And nonetheless, they beat my Timberwolves twice in 1 week last week. But that does not mean they're not dog shit. That just means that those losses are more embarrassing. But what I will tell you is they have some solid players on this team, including Bogdanovich, the greatest name in the history of names. He's shooting... Bojan. Oh, this is Bojan. The second greatest name in the history of names. He is shooting 41.5% from 3. He's their leading scorer overall, almost shooting 50%. Cade he's out for the year. He was looking okay. Wasn't shooting that well, but still excited about him next year. For guys that are playing this year, Jaden Ivey, he's in his rookie season, and he sure looks like a rookie. He's an aggressive one, but reminds me a lot of Russell Westbrook in his early year, or in his rookie year. Not saying Jaden Ivey's going to have a Hall of Fame triple-double egomaniac addicted career, but he could. Who knows? Maybe he'll be in that mold. Somebody I've been disappointed in, Sadiq Bey. I mean, at this point, I'm questioning as a Piston GM if I want him on my team next year, or if I can find somebody else that's better at the 4 position. After our rookie year, I thought he would have been a guy to build around, but now I'm not so sure. Outside of that, I'll let you talk here in a sec. Killian Hayes, he started to turn things around, but I think overall he's still kind of not a guy you can really count on in your rebuilding team. Alec Burks, I think you can trade for some picks this year. Jalen Duren, I like what you see from him. He looks like a really solid big man. And let's take it from there. What do you think about my whole spiel? That's the Pistons roster. It's a lot of shit. There's some rubies in there maybe.
Yeah, I mean, aside from injuries here and there, I mean, Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren are looking like some promising big men that they have. Isaiah Stewart's doing a lot better than he thought, and actually, Sadiq Bey has started to do better. But I think it's made clear he's not going to be a number 1 or 2 for them. I think it's going to hurt what they pay him, and I think that's what's going to lose them because I think someone else is going to pay him more. I think like the Charlotte Hornets.
Sadiq Bey?
Yeah, Sadiq Bey.
Oh. I mean, who cares if you're the Pistons? Like, what's he even add to your team? He's not the shooter. I mean, he's shooting 33% from 3 this year, and like last year he didn't shoot well either.
Well, I think what this really shows is that what we saw from the promise from last year is that he's just going to be a nice role player. I think right now he's he's probably their second scoring option, behind Bojan, which. But I think they're going to be looking at Bojan for trades. They'd be dumb not to because he's on his last year of his contract. He's not going to elect to sign back with the Pistons unless they give him an obscene amount of money. And maybe that'll happen. I don't know. but yeah, we talked about Killian Hayes. I mean, we thought he was going to do well, but now I think we just kind of saw that he might not get there. Jaden Ivey, he's having the year I thought he would have, the exact year I thought he would have, where he's having some struggles shooting. I mean, just doesn't look like the NBA is a lot for him right now, and I don't think that affects how well I still think he's going to be really good. It just takes it back a little more because now more pressure's on him. I mean, Cade's not out on the floor, and he's their star. He's their guy, and now they're just kind of looking at Jaden Ivey. Now everyone's like, oh yeah, let's see what Jaden Ivey has every night. Adds more pressure to you, I
think he's got talent. I think he's certainly, scoring 15 points a game this year is still good, even if it's not great shooting. It still shows he's got an ability to get to the rack. And we've seen the speed. I know this Pistons team is going to always be having a good pace to them, even with old guys like Donovan slowing it down. They have a kind of an interesting mix of guys when you've got the speedster Jaden, you've got these clunky big men like Stewart and Bogdanovich and Duren. But I mean, I'm just not really high on Sadiq Bey anymore. I don't know. Anyways, the Pistons are complete dog shit. That's where I was at. I am excited to see who they pick up in the draft, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if you can guess where are they in the rankings for offense?
For like offensive rating?
Yeah.
I bet they're like 29th.
No, 25th. Where are they? Okay, yeah,
that's pretty good.
Well, bottom 5. Yeah, for them. Where are they in defensive rating? Where are they on defensive ranks?
28th.
29th.
I should have said 29th.
Yeah, you should have doubled down. But yeah, they're just second worst defense in the league, 5th worst offense. They got to. I mean, I don't think they have to do something. We all know they're just waiting. They're tanking. They're waiting to see if they can get Victor. So, you know what? I hope they do because I love to see the Pistons do well, and I like Cade. But what do you guys think? What do you think they should do? Comment that below. Let someone know. I mean, maybe us, but someone. But our last topic, my favorite game. I love this game. God, I forgot. Roster recall is what I called it on the board. We're gonna play it. I say 3 teams. Of a current NBA player, he has to say a player that played for those 3 teams. He gets a point if he says one I'm not thinking of. He gets a point if it's one I think of. Either way, I'm gonna say a guy. I'm gonna say the three teams. He's gonna guess. I'll start you off. I got three guys this time. I don't know how many guys you got, but this should be a decently easy one. I got the Rockets, the Spurs. I mean, the Rockets, the Suns, and the Heat. Rockets, Suns, Heat. And you get
PJ
it.
Tucker.
PJ Tucker gets in instantly. Hey, look
Ding,
at
ding,
that.
ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding. That's a W.
Oh, yeah. All right. Do you want me to say mine now?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. I got one for you. Maybe it'll be easy. Maybe not. Memphis Grizzlies, Houston Rockets, Miami Heat.
Memphis Grizzlies, Houston Rockets, Miami Heat. Ooh. Whew. That's a good one.
Oh, stumping him already.
It's not Patrick Beverly.
No. That's a good guess, though, because Beverly has played for those three teams. He never played for Grizzlies, though, actually. So I don't know if you count him.
Did he play? I don't think he played for the Heat.
He just got traded for them or midway, but actually, I do think Beverly played for the Heat. I feel like he was Heat and then Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not him.
Heat. Dwayne Dedman.
Nope, not Dwayne Dedman.
Damn. All right, that's two. Give me a hint.
He is, or he played for the Grizzlies in his rookie year.
That's not Max Strus.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, it is. You ready?
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry.
Oh, shit. I forgot he played for the Rockets. God, that's a good one.
Yes. Yeah, if I had said Raptors
That would have been a giveaway.
instead, you would have known.
Yeah, that would have been a dead giveaway. That was a good one. I fucking forgot all about Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Damn.
He was a little journeyman before he went to the Raptors.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I went too easy, but Lakers, Rockets, Wizards.
Lakers. Lakers, Rockets, Wizards. That's actually tough. Lakers. No, that's Westbrook.
Yeah. Thought it would be slick.
I'll
Not
tell
tossing
you
in
what.
OKC.
I had the same one. I had Rockets, Lakers, Wizards for Westbrook on my list. That's why I got that one.
Oh shit!
I had that one prepared for you, so I gotta X that one out.
Oh, my bad.
Oh man! So instead of doing that one, I will do a different one.
Okay.
This player played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Brooklyn Nets, and Atlanta Hawks. Let's see if you get this one, man. This is a tough one.
So, oh, he's not in the league. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say his name. DeLon Wright.
Nope.
Paul Millsap.
Nope.
All right, what's the hint?
He is not currently on one of the teams I said.
Not currently on one of the teams you said.
He plays for a team we cover often.
Plays for a team we cover often.
I brought him too hard today, I guess. Had to get you payback.
Yeah. Nets, Hawks, Cavs.
Yep.
Team we talk about often. No, not him. Yeah. Thaddeus Young.
No, but that's a good guess. It's a good guess. The answer is Taurean Prince.
Taurean. I forgot he was on the Hawks. God. He was drafted by the Hawks, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he played a couple years there. So, and then he bounced around with the Nets and Cavs before making his way to the Timberwolves.
Damn, that's right. Taurean, damn it. All right. I got one. Hopefully this is a little harder.
Yeah.
Bucks, Raptors, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Bucks, Raptors, Thunder. That's gotta be George Hill.
No.
Current player.
Yeah.
Bucks, Raptors, Thunder. Serge Ibaka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
I should have tossed in the Clippers instead of the Bucks. So that one went a little bit harder. Yeah, Serge.
Nice. I am on the ball today. All right. That was your last one, right?
Yep.
I got one more. This player has played for in his career the Brooklyn Nets, Portland Trail Blazers, and Charlotte Hornets.
That's Hornets. What was the last one?
Blazers?
That's Hornets, Blazers.
That's Hornets, Blazers.
That's Hornets, Blazers. Nope, not him. Ish Smith?
Nope. No, sir.
No, not that guy.
You got this. I believe in you.
That's Hornets. Why am I blanking right now? That's Hornets, Blazers. Shut up, Fred. I'm thinking. Hornets player. Ah, damn. I gotta toss. I gotta toss. Well, hold on. I gotta toss some out there before that. It's not Mason Plumlee.
It's Mason Plumlee.
No way.
baby.
No way.
Yep,
I thought he was just on the
that's it.
Nuggets. Nuggets and
He was also on the Nuggets. Yep.
okay.
That was a team that I did not include that I thought would have given it away. But yeah, he was traded to the Blazers. Or maybe he was traded from the Blazers. Yeah, he was traded from the Blazers to the Nuggets in exchange for Jusuf Nurkic. So that's how Nurkic really got his opportunities with Portland at that point. So Plumlee's now 32 years old. He's an old man.
Damn, that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, I was thinking him like originally, and I was like, but I kept just couldn't get by the Nets. So I was like Nets and Hornets. I can't remember one other one. But that was good. Good. I'm glad I got one today. Shit.
You did it.
I did it. But
all right, man. Well, great episode 65, Dead or Alive. We are still here, so I think alive is the way we roll.
Yep. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dogs friends, tell your dogs friends, cats. Let us know. Have them watch. We're on everywhere. Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, in your mom's house.
Hey, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Here we go. Next time we'll see you for episode 666. I mean, 666. See you then.
Yeet.
Thanks for watching. Shit. I didn't know this.